Hello, cannedcream here, CC for short, and today I would like to talk to you about bad characterization.
It's gotta be me! Maybe it's me! Maybe it's us!
Maybe it's us!
You know what? No, these two don't even get an opening cutaway. To be exact, today I want to talk to you about the artistic cancer that is Snips and Snails. And if you can't already tell, I'm going to be ragging on these two super hard over the next couple of minutes. So if you happen to be a fan of them for whatever inconceivable reason, you might want to change channels now. Maybe watch that video with that squirrel that water skis. That's always fun. Okay. I promise I'm going to try to be fair about this. After all, this is a video about characterization, not about venting my burning hate for Tweedledee and Tweedledumbass over here. Keep it together, Cream. You're a professional. You can do this. You didn't get your master's in equine analyzation for nothing. There are many reasons that contribute to MLP's intense and widespread popularity. Things like beautiful animations, cleverly placed in-jokes and references, and honestly well-written stories with good morals are all clearly major contributions. But I think the biggest cause of the show's success is their use of well-rounded and honestly relatable characters. Everyone has their favorite in the show, sometimes several favorites. And you can't go 10 minutes into a conversation without hearing why at least 50 different ponies are best pony. That's because these characters are so freaking good, especially our main cast. They're believable, fleshed out people who pose both redeeming traits as well as character flaws. Sure, Rarity might be an over-emotional drama queen, but she'll fiercely defend her friends when they're in danger. Applejack might be a tomboy, but she knows the satisfaction of a hard day's work. Twilight's well-read and highly intelligent, but she'll always be a little socially awkward. Not only does the main six show that there are so many different ways to be a girl, but also a general well-rounded person. And I think you'd be hard-pressed not to find a single character you didn't at least partially identify with. Even background characters like Zecora, Discord, or Big Mac are pretty well done and entertaining to have on screen. So with all of these great characters, it just baffles me why Snips and Snails were ever introduced into this show, let alone left in. They are the worst type of television character, the moron. They exist for one purpose and one purpose only, to act stupid. This is the alpha and the omega of their characterization. They literally contribute nothing. They are only around to be made the butt of the occasional joke, and to act as the mooks for whatever evil empress happens to be the focus of the story. Whether it be mindlessly serving Trixie or Sunset Shimmer, they're really only there to goof up and make things worse for everyone, including the viewer. It's not that the moronic character is bad in and of itself. You can have an imbecilic character and have them be enjoyable. But just being dumb can't be all there is to them. That's a sign of lazy writing, and it's a bad idea. It's what caused so many other cartoons, mostly well-deserved ones, to tank and fade into forgotten obscurity. This is Snips and Snails' biggest problem. They do not have anything else going for them. They are a one-note character, and that note is painfully flat. Let's take a look at how these two were introduced. They made their first appearance in Ghostbusters by literally bowling over a much better written character. Not a great way to make a first impression with your audience. Maybe it's fitting that the two worst written characters in the show came from one of the most worst written episodes. And that's me complaining about that. Someone who enjoys just about every MLP episode. Ne'er-do-well, Dragonshy, and Spike at Your Service included. That's all that Snips and Snails are in their first appearance. A newly introduced foil used to move the plot forward. While Shining Armor might be a far more glaring use of introducing a new character out of thin air while pretending he was there all along, at least he turned out to be an enjoyable and likable guy. For these two, though, that never happened. Every time they're a major part of an episode, they're just to act as henchmen and punching bags. At least with Trixie, it sort of made sense. They both had a sort of idealistic worship of her, and I can't lie, I kinda know the feeling. One day you will be mine. But they take some pretty huge abuse from Trixie without ever seeming to realize just how little of a damn she gives about them. Even as they're pulling her wheelless cart like literal pack mules, Snips remarks that he liked her better as a fraud, which is a marginal improvement on their parts, I guess. They still follow her though, and at the end of the ordeal they don't seem to come out any wiser for the experience. And then we get to Equestria Girls, where Dumb and Dumber here get downgraded from idiots to goons. They don't have any reason to be following Sunset around. They worshipped Trixie. This world clearly has a Trixie. Why aren't they following her? I guess without a Twilight to drive her to the point of madness, the girl turned out to be relatively normal, and the duo were forced to turn to another woman to treat them like garbage. Though I have to admit, at least with Sunset, they got demon powers. I would say that this shows some improvement in their characters, because here they were rewarded for following the clear villain, but then that means at some point Sunset said to them, "Hey, obey me, and I'll let you become my demonic henchman." And instead of thinking she was crazy, they were like, neat.
Though, actually, now that I think about it... Hey, Mage!
Yes?
If I agree to follow Lethal, can I get demon powers?
Do you think this is a game?
No, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
Also, at what point did they go from being dim-witted to being evil? They were never portrayed as being evil in the show. They're not even bullies. They were just there. Before, you could at least say they weren't actively trying to hurt anyone. Sure, they unleashed Ursa Minor, but their intents weren't evil. Equestria Girls took the one redeeming thing you could say about them and tossed it in the trash. Now they're not just insulting cheap jokes, but they are evil. They are bullies, and they are trying to hurt you. With Trixie, they were almost sympathetic. You know, I'm going to be honest with you, my friends and followers. My intense dislike for these two started after the Derpy debacle. I found myself wondering over and over how Derpy was seen as offensive when these two were perfectly fine. Maybe I even had a little bit of resentment that Snips and Snails kept showing up even after it seemed like Derpy was gone forever. Hell, for reasons beyond my comprehension, they're even a part of the freaking opening theme now. But everything's okay. Derpy is back home where she is loved, and all is right with the world. So yes, maybe there is some prejudice on my part, but I have tried so hard to find something about these characters to like, and I just can't. They have no personality, no positive traits, no moral value, no reason to be a part of a show that has created so many complex characters. I just cannot bring myself to like them. And I am far more forgiving than my colleagues. I find enjoyment even in the most panned of episodes. I don't even hate Flash Sentry. Is that sinking in? Flash Sentry. The character so bland he's the equivalent of tofu on a rice cake has more intrinsical value to me than Snips and Snails. Look, I am sorry if this came off as a rant. But I just cannot find anything redeemable about these two. It's like they belong to a totally different show. The fact that the same staff that has shaped so many other wonderful characters continues to use these guys, even sparingly as they have, is a disservice to them and to you. But what are your thoughts, dear listener? Am I being too judging? Is there something of value to these two that I just can't see? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Or post your own feelings about characters that you despise with the burning wrath of Hades. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel to see more joyful videos. And, as always,
Stay pony, my friends.